record. Okay, I just started recording. We did not do a kit for this month because we felt like everyone was going to be spending a lot of money on Christmas, and you know, we were trying to just have a night where we can come together and have a little bit of fun and just hang out a little bit. However, Flamingo Scraps is offering, they have the supplies that you need for this layout at flamingoscraps.com in their store. So she's going to be dropping in a discount code. So if you decide you want these products that I'm using tonight and you do not have them, you definitely could, you know, go there to get them. She can tell you the percentages and the coupon code. She's going to drop the link in there. But anyway, you guys, I have people ask me all the time, would I do some masculine layouts? I have a lot of boys around, and you don't see too many masculine layouts out there. So I thought that this paper line really kind of spoke to me a little bit, and I took this picture of my nephew over Christmas break. This was a present that he was given to his mom and grandmother, and we got together and we took it. And I wanted to do a layout with it because it, you know, it's really, like I said, it's really hard to find boy stuff. But before we do the layout, because the layout's a really simple layout, it won't take very long to do it, I want to show you the exact same layout, but maybe a few things turn a different way. So tonight we're going to use the Portfolio Collection and Heidi Swap's Vintage Chic. Oh, thank you guys. The Heidi Swap Vintage Chic and the Heidi Swap, or the Portfolio Collection. There's going to be a lot of Pink Paisley products in here. There's some of the Color Magic pieces, which I love, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And washi tape, of course, has become a staple, I think, in everyone's craft room these days, so we're going to use some of that. But before we get started with the layout itself, I want to show you another masculine layout that I did. And this has when you look at them side by side, you will notice that they have a lot of similarities here. This layout, it's the same layout. The only thing I did was I rotated the cluster from the bottom of the layout to the side of the layout. And this was taken from, this was one of the Prima Bop challenges. And again, this is all Prima product that is on this layout. So yes, you can take your Prima products and create boy layouts. I mean, I don't know if you could get any more boy than this. Washi tape hasn't invaded your scrap room yet? Are you kidding me? Girl, when you do, you're going to be totally addicted. I mean, addicted. Look out, you'll have tape everywhere. So, what I do whenever I sit down with challenging layouts and I'm not really sure where I want to go with them, and I see something that's really cute. I've lost my little post-it note. It was buried here somewhere. What I typically do is I will pull out, I'm going to pull all this out of the way so we can talk intelligently here. I will pull out an index card, and I just kind of start jotting down some notes. When I think boy, I start thinking of all of the products that I want to include on my layouts. So in this case, I made a list. Film strips, notebook punch. When I say notebook punch, I mean, like, you know how you see the punches that look like notebook paper is ripped out? Those are great for boys. Tags, tabs, labels, stitching, washi tape, arrows, paper clips, staples, mesh tape, splatters, dominoes, clocks, gears, playing cards, twine, chunky tiles, small thin letters, numbers, tickets, and stamps. So I kind of make myself a little, kind of quick little brainstorming list of all of the things that are relative to this layout. But as you'll notice, I also do kind of color swatches on here of things I'm wanting to try out. So like on this case, I don't know if you can see it with the blown out light, but like I have this yellow swatch right here where I try my inks out on this as well. And then on the back I start sketching ideas, and this is typically what one of my sketches ends up looking like. scary, isn't it? So I will draw like a little 12 by 12 area, and then I start breaking down the anatomy. And some of this may be pieces and parts of other layouts that I've seen online, and I just like an element, and so I put it in here. And then I take these lines and I draw out, and I make myself notes. Strips of paper and tape, arrows from scraps, glassine bags, a tag with twine, file tab stitched, film strips, pink paisley paper, no limit. So I've already decided what paper I want to use. And then the original layout, I was going to put his name written in big letters across the bottom, but I never could find the right lettering that I wanted to use, and I didn't. At the time, it was Christmas, and I was going crazy, so I didn't pull out the silhouette, but that's still an option. And then numbers, perhaps some metal somewhere, some splatters of paint. So I kind of have a grid all figured out on here as to what I want to do. And now you can definitely start out with one of the sketches. There's several sketching companies out there. I know the Flamingo Scraps design team has been using a lot of sketches on their posts lately, so by all means go and check those out. Go back to some of the archived products and look at those. So start out with the sketch. But my point of telling you this is that sometimes layouts just kind of happen when you sit down, but I find that if it's a layout that I'm challenged with, such as masculine layouts, it always helps me to make this list. Is that clear for everyone? Did everybody understand what I was trying to say? It just kind of helps me gather my thoughts. It gives me a shopping list, and I take the shopping list with me and I shop in my scrap pile, and then whatever's left over I run, and that's what I take to the store with me. Another tip that I have for layouts is that I always have these 12 by 12 Ziploc bags. And what I do is I typically trap, when I'm doing my shopping, I will take the photograph if it's already printed, it goes in the bag. I will take my sketch with my notes on it, it goes in the bag. I go shopping in my scrapbook room. Trust me, I could do that. I could open a store with what's in here. But I put all of the things that strike me into this bag. And that way, whenever I'm in here, I'm not fumbling all around through thousands of pieces of paper trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm productive with my time. So this is something that I used to teach when I had my store. I would teach people how to do this. When I read a magazine, a scrapbook magazine, I read it with one of these pieces of paper in my hand. And if I see an idea, I'll just draw a little square, and I'll write that idea off to the side. And before you know it, a sketch has come to life. Because I'll see, take pieces from this article or pieces from that article until it all kind of comes together. So, hi, Anne-Marie. So, then what I do is I start throwing things into the bag. I start doing things like here. I said borders, border strips, things like that. They're all in the bag. And that means, I'm not fumbling around for things. They're all trapped here in this bag. Now, for all of you who attend crops, this is an excellent way to be productive at a crop. Because then you just grab this bag up and you take it with you. You've got your idea, you've got your photograph, you've got all your supplies, and then anything that's missing from here, you do your shopping while you're at the store. So I hope for the beginners out there that this is a good tip for them. For some of you who have been around for a while, I hope that you can take something from this too. Now, another thing I like to do with this is I like to go through my scrap pile at the same time and pull out any coordinating scraps that I may have that could work with this layout. Because as you all know, I have a philosophy of use something old with something new. So anyway, let's get started. I think everybody's kind of chimed in now that's coming in. We've got quite a few viewers tonight. So I'm going to start out with my first piece of paper, which is going to be my base. And this is the Vintage Chic Just Dots from Heidi Swaps. It's the coordinating pattern that's on the back, is the checkerboards. So So one side it says, well, both sides are named just dots, but one is checkerboard and one is polka dots. And I'm going to use the checkerboard one for tonight, and I'm just going to kind of cut that strip off. Now typically I grunge up the edges of all my layouts, but tonight I'm not going to do that. I'm trying to move away from doing the same old thing over and over again. I want to try and do some new stuff. I've been really trying hard to work on having white space, because those of you who have followed me for a long time know that I like a lot of stuff. Well, welcome. So here I have some scraps that I pulled out from the other layout, and I'm just going to sit and organize those out for just a second and kind of get my bearings. I'm also going to use the ephemera pack that comes with this portfolio collection. I have quite a bit of it. And then these are the Color Magic pieces. Now these Color Magic pieces are white typically, and then they have this varnish over the top of them that's in a design. I don't know if the camera's going to allow you to see the shine or not. I don't know if you can see it, but you'll see it when we put ink on it. So we're going to use some of those tonight, and I'm going to get to play around with some of that. And I love this paper from Pink Paisley. These are like my favorite colors, so I was super excited to get a hold of it. And then inside the ephemera pack there are these cute little arrows. And let's see here. That's the ephemera pack that I opened up. And then I'm also going to use, I don't have another heart, so what I'm going to use instead is, and it's part of that Color Magic set, I'm going to use a heart. I don't have a star. A star is what I used on the last one. Then I also went through some of my die cuts, and I cut out, this is from the Tim Holtz Tiny Tabs and Tags, so I cut that out. Hi, Tiffy. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink up my edges, and I'm going to use my Gathered Twigs Distress ink. I think especially on boy layouts, I really like the distress look for boy stuff, because all the boys in my life tend to be a little bit on the dirty side. I don't know about you guys, but I know Brighton, he's always dirty. Oh my goodness. The boy takes more showers than anything I've ever seen in my life, but he's always like going for runs, or, you know, he's playing football or basketball or baseball, and it just seems like he's so active. And the same thing with this little guy Colton that we're doing the layout with. He's one of my nephews, and he's very active with sports and things like that. So for me, I think a key element to a masculine layout is, you know, pulling in some of that grunge. We don't get to do too much of that on our girly layouts, and it's fun. It's fun to get dirty. And I just think it kind of helps draw your eye back to the center of the layout whenever you ink up the edges a little bit. And like I said, normally I would rip and tear this edge apart. You guys have seen me do that 1,000 times, but with this one, because all of the elements were so clean, I wanted to keep the edges a little bit clean, just darken them up a little bit. This would be an excellent layout for school pictures. Hi, Ramona. But see how just adding that little bit of color to the edge just has already kind of helped your eye kind of come back towards the inside. Now, I have a real hard problem with white space, and lately I have been trying so hard to not clutter up everything, because I think that's a new look that's out right now, is the good clean and keeping it kind of somewhat simple. Plus, it gets us back to, I think with the introduction of smash books and things, people are really starting to embrace those flatter layouts again, because, you know, obviously if you buy the book and it's already already bound, you don't have much space for you know, adding depth. But I like a lot of depth, so I think that layering paper is where I'm going to achieve that depth without compromising the, you know, without having a whole lot of thickness. A list of all of the supplies that are used are on my blog as well as the Flamingo Scraps blog. And Suzanne can post a link to both. My blog is psychomomscrapbooks.blogspot.com, and then Flamingo's is flamingoscraps.blogspot.com. So Suzanne can post a link to that there. The post where we announced the Ustream has the whole product list listed there. Hi, Mary. We still have quite a few people showing up. So what I decided to do that helped me, and I thought maybe it might help you guys too, is I decided that since I wanted my cluster to just kind of be around my image, that I would build it on my image. And then go from there. And the coordinating paper that I decided to use with this vintage chic paper is the pink paisley portfolio, and this is the page that's called Unbelievable. And it has all of these awesome cards, and then on the back side of it, it has this nice chevron paper. No, I am not. And I'll tell you why I am not afraid of destroying my picture, is because this picture is a digital picture, which means I took it with a digital camera, which means it's not my only copy, and there should be no fear in scrapbooking. I can print this all day long. If I take it, you know, if I do happen to mess up this picture, I can always print another one out. Now, confessions. Lately, I have been printing out my pictures at home. I love the way they look. I have a color laser printer, and I've been printing them on the Georgia Pacific 110-pound cardstock, and I absolutely love the way they look. And to me, they look a lot better than they look sometimes when I get them from the photo lab. They're crisper. Can you guys see it? They're a good thickness. And honestly, it's a laser printer. I mean, I'm not having any problems with them at all. It's not peeling off. It's not, you know, flaking off. And I like the fact that it looks matte. I don't like glossy prints. And for those of you, I love black and white, especially with boys, but for those of you who are in the market for a laser printer, I think my husband paid $200 for this laser printer, and it has more than paid for itself. So it's worth it. It's worth every penny of it. It costs a little bit more to replace the cartridges when they go out, but they last forever. I mean, forever. I do a lot of printing, and mine have lasted forever. And if you guys want to know, I think mine's an HP CP 1525, I believe, but $200 at a local scrapbook store, and I mean at a local office supply store. So anyway, that's where this picture came from. This picture is printed at, I think it's around 3x5. Let me see. It's 3.5 by 5. So, and then I left, all I did was leave a little bit of a white border around the edge of the picture when I trimmed it out. Now, what I decided to do to kind of help myself stay with not cluttering up the page is I took away this piece of paper, and I didn't focus on it too much. All I did was focus on my photograph. And I'm going to take and cut out some things from this paper, and then the things that are left over, I'm going to end up using the chevron that's on the back to build out my page. So one of the elements that I wanted to keep was down here. It says "You are," and it has a line. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And I'm not going to be real precise with it. If you want to be, you can. I wanted this layout to stay kind of clean, so I'm being very careful with, you know, not you know, distressing everything. But one tip that I have for you is I don't re-ink my pad, but I just take and rub this just around the edge softly. This is the brown. We use the gathered twigs. Couple of reasons why. It gives a little bit of depth to your die cuts, but it also helps if you didn't cut straight. It kind of helps to camouflage that uneven line a little bit. And I'm not re-inking and distressing and doing a lot of stuff. I'm just kind of grabbing the edges. Then I'm doing, I wanted to keep this one right here that says today, tomorrow, and forever. I really like the way that kind of has that label look to it. So we have that one, and I'm probably going to go ahead and ink that edge up too while I have it out. Okay, so I have that one, and then I want the stink big that's right here. And I think the key to masculine layouts is building out, we typically want to grab flowers, and flowers are easy, and we just want to grab flowers and just go to town. But the problem is that with masculine layouts, it's hard, you don't want to use flowers, and then I sit here and twiddle my thumbs and go, well, what can I use instead of flowers? And I think the key to that is just, like I said, make a list of embellishments that you think might work with the paper, and stick to masculine feeling things, like, metal pieces, gears, that kind of thing. And with this case, this paper had so much blue in it that it just seemed kind of natural to just take all of the pieces of paper and just make flags and tags and just do layers and layers and layers of pictures. And I'm going to tell you, this is one of my most popular layouts that people have really been liking this. Anything Tim Holtz will always work for definitely for doing that kind of thing. And then I think that's it as far as what I want to protect on this side of the layout. So now I want to start thinking about, when I drew my sketch out, I wanted all these flags sticking out from the bottom and the sides of the layout. So now I'm going to concentrate on looking at all these pieces and deciding where can I cut a flag. And I think I want to use this piece right here, because it already has somewhat of a grid already on it, so it will help bring out the grid that's in the paper line, in the background paper. So all I'm going to do is cut along that, and I think I want this to stay kind of flat. I like this edge, but I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. Now remember that because I'm going to be putting this around a photograph, that when you build your layers, if it's going to be hidden behind the layout, then, behind the photograph, then, don't just glue it down and waste that paper, because all of this paper right here, it's not going to get seen. Then don't waste it. Just cut this off and then tuck it down from below. So in this case, we're not going to use that much of this. I'm probably only going to use about an inch or two of this. So I'm going to cut this off, and maybe I could use the back side of it for something else. So I'm going to start out by kind of placing that there. And I'm going to grab out my masking tape, and I'm going to just start building these as I do them. So this is an artist grade masking tape that I'm using here. I got it from the art supply store. It's, I get the hiccups, I'm sorry. Tonya can work on a piece of paper now. I don't know. Okay, so I want this to kind of stick out a little bit, like going across this way. So I'm going to just tape that down, and I'm just going to start building out around my photograph. And then this one, I want to kind of be down here, but I don't want to cover up the words today and tomorrow and forever. So what I'm going to do is just grab my tape. I'm going to stick the tape on the back of the piece of paper that I want to preserve, and then I'm going to start lining it up this way. And I want to kind of overlap that just a little bit, but I want to keep it straight. So see how my layering is starting to happen, but it's only happening here, so I'm not trying to fill this big void of paper. I'll tell you how I keep the little bitty pieces of papers of scrap at the end of the show. I'll pull one of them out and show it to you, because I have a bucket, and you guys are going to be amazed when you see it. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel, so if you guys are interested, you could go check that out. Next thing I want to look at is, I really like this piece right here. It has a lot of yellow in it, and I want to pull some of that yellow out, so I'm going to cut it too. And I'm just cutting like strips of paper. That's it, just strips of paper. So this one is going to kind of jet back out this way. Actually, I think I want it to go, yeah. But I don't need all of it, so I'm going to cut a piece of it off, just like that. And it's going to kind of come out through here. I want that yellow up at the top, right there. And the joy of putting this down with masking tape is I'm not committed to anything. If I don't like it, I'll pull it up. The masking tape is not going to stick forever. So now I'm going to go on to the next piece. I think I want a little bit of this writing to stick up, so I'm going to just cut a little piece of this out. And I'm going to have it come in, maybe tuck between the two, like this. So I'll flip this over and put a little bit right there. See how that's flopping? Don't worry, I will glue that down before it's over. Then the next thing I want to do is think about my glassine bag, and it's going to kind of tuck in right here. I want to do my journaling. I do a lot of hidden journalings whenever I do when I do layouts. I find that the journaling is a little distracting simply because I write it on, I usually hang a lot of these on the wall. I have shadow boxes that I put them in, and canvases and things like that I put them on. So I typically don't like my journaling to show, but I do think it's very important to have it. So I always have it on my layout. Sometimes it's written on the back of the layout, and sometimes it's in a little hidden secret compartment. And I find that these little glassine bags are the perfect way to kind of camouflage some of that. And then now I'm going to talk about my flags. I want some flags going up here. I want some flags coming down here. But before I do that, I know I definitely want to have this piece right here. Pull this out just a little bit. I definitely want this think big to be here. And what's happening is the think, I'm using the words that were in the paper collection to create my title phrase. And when it's all put together, I'll show it to you, and you can see what I mean. I just kind of looked at the paper and thought, you know, that would make a good title, and that's how I ended up doing it, just surrounding it around the picture, almost like I was giving advice to Colton. So it says right now, think big, today and tomorrow and forever. So I kind of like how that all worked. And then now I want to start thinking about my flags that I've got hanging out. So I'm going to put this to the side. I want to use some of this chevron. I think it's kind of cool, but I want to make sure I get it straight because these lines will drive you nuts if they're not straight. So I'm just going to cut a little piece off right here, and I want to put it like right in here to kind of fill in this hole a little bit. My home is Grand Central Station. Our kids have not gone back to school yet. They go back on Wednesday, and so all my nephews are over here hanging out. Now, see where it's going, where I'm clustering up and I'm doing a lot of layering right here on the picture? What I like about it is I'm keeping the integrity of all of that white space. See how it's starting to, it's clustering up and it's getting cluttered, which is what I like, is a lot of clutter, but I'm focusing on such a really small space that, you know, it's coming together and the layers are being built and there's depth through the layers, but I'm not using up all of the negative space around. I'm actually protecting it by not working directly on this big piece of paper. So next we're going to get a little bit dirty, and we're going to talk about the color magic for just a minute. Oops, let me put this aside. These little color magic tags are so fun. They are really a lot of fun. This one in particular has like this kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's like a Moroccan type pattern in it. But what they are is they are an ink quality cardstock, and they have a varnish over the top that is resist. So when you add color, and I'm going to use the Peacock Feathers Distressing, which is one of the seasonal colors, and if you don't have it and you want it, I think Flamingo Scraps will special order it for you. But I'm just going to take and start adding it, and as soon as I do, you will see that resist starts to show up. And this peacock color was like made for this color shine, or made for this paper collection. I absolutely love it. And everyone who knows me knows that teal is my favorite color. Any shade of aqua and teal is my favorite color. But then when you throw that mustard yellow in there with it, it's like delish for me. It's absolutely my favorite. And it's such a great, like, it reminds me, I figured out this summer why I like it so much. I was laying in my pool, and I looked around, and I thought, it's the color of the pool water. And then I was at the beach, and I saw the ocean, and I was like, it's the color of the ocean water in Florida. That's exactly why I like this color. I like to be in those places. Look at how beautiful that is. See how quickly we've already added a pop of color, and that resist. I love it. And if you want, what you could do too is just take a baby wipe and very lightly wipe over the top, and it will lift all of that color right off of the varnish, but leave it on the tag. So it's pure, it's almost a pure white. Make sure if you wet your surface that you clean it up really good. So we're going to put that one to the side, and we're going to talk about these borders, because they also have, where did I do with them? I buried them. I wanted to use these, and these are also, these are from Pink Paisley. It's called the borders, the artisan borders, and I wanted to use the one that has the brackets on it, because I really like those curly bracket things. And I'm going to use the mustard yellow color with this one. And see how it picks up that color, and you can make it whatever color you want. These things are so awesome. I love them. Now, if you don't want it to rub off, you could come back over it with a little bit of matte medium to seal it, but I'm not going to touch this layout, so it doesn't really matter to me. But look at how beautiful that is. It's a subtle color. When it mixes with the white, these almost feel like a little bit of like a plastic or silicone-y kind of thing, element. Where'd my white go? Clean this off my mat before I put my paper down. So I got those all colored up. And then next I'm going to color up, in my original layout I used some scraps from Parisian Anthology, which also has this kind of color magic kind of feeling to it. Yes, these borders have an embossed feel to them. They're raised. But I don't have any more of those scraps from the Parisian Anthology line, so I'm going to use another one of these cards from the Color Magic line. And on this one, I'm going to cut right, let's see, how much of this do I want? I'm probably going to, let me cut right along here. And keep these little scraps that I'm cutting off because, you know, this is what's building the layers. Actually, I might better do this with the craft knife because it's not going to be straight if I don't, and it's going to drive me bananas. Yep. I cannot cut straight with those Timmy scissors to save my life. I don't care. If you had a gun to my head, I couldn't do it. They're too bulky or something, and the blade's not long enough. I see people use them all the time and they cut so straight, but I think I see crooked too, because I look at stuff sometimes and I think to myself, wow, that wasn't straight. And all I'm doing is I'm just trimming off where that rounded corner is. I'm just going to the edge of where the rounded corner is. And then on this one, I'm going to do flags at the top and at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of, I want to protect this a little bit, so I'm not going to go very deep with the flag. Maybe to about, well, let's see how many, yeah, kind of along here. I'm only going to go to about like right there, and then just trim straight across. Now, the reason I didn't color this all up before I trimmed it was because if I decide to use those pieces somewhere else, I might want them a different color. So, in this case, I thought it was more practical to actually color it after I got it cut. So now I have a flag made out of these, and these are, I think these come as a set and a tag set, and Flamingo definitely has them. Don't throw out these little triangle pieces because these would actually make really cute arrows if you wanted to. So I'm going to put those to the side, and then we're going to go ahead and color this. And I went ahead and used the peacock color on this as well. If you don't have the Tim Holtz Distress inks, Prima also has those little chalk inks that you could use these with. You could also use any of your glimmer mists or any of those misting sprays that you have, the Mr. Huey's, any of those will work on this. Anything, not just the Tim Holtz products. So these are made to resist any ink color. I think you could probably even use your Pitt pens if you wanted to, you know, anything, really. So let's get this up off of here. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that color. Just love it. So fun. Now, back to my picture. Let me wipe my hands off because I don't want that. I don't want the ink to transfer to the top of my picture, for sure. And I want to make sure that my work surface is good and clean before I bring my picture back out. In fact, I'm probably going to take a piece of this paper and just lay it here on top of my picture. Now, in this case, I want this flag to come up at the top, and I also want it to come down to the bottom of this picture. But obviously, I have just a small piece, and it's not going to do that. So what I decided to do was, I came up with this genius idea, cut it in half, and use half of it at the top, and half of it at the bottom. Now, how fun is that? So, I'm going to take my masking tape and put that on there. And then I'm going to come back down as if it's in the exact same spot coming from the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of scoot it down here. Make sure it's sticking out as far as I want it to stick out. And I'm going to glue it down to the bottom. I think it's kind of over just a little bit. And that's another reason why I like this masking tape, is I can peel it up and put it back down. So see, now you've got, it looks like the flag is actually longer than it really is. So then I'm going to take, and I've got this little bit of a gap right here, and I didn't want to see that. So that's where these kind of came in handy, because I decided that it would be fun to take 2 or 3 of these, and it kind of carries over the look of the brackets. Let me see how many of these I want to use. I'm going to hold off on that for just a second. I want to get another element in here first before I start. I need another little piece of something right in here, and I think what I'm going to do is just cut off a piece of this, because I like this text. It's kind of fun. I think I want it kind of peeking out like right in there, and if it's a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut a little more of it off and put it maybe right in there. And what this is going to do is going to give me a little bit of a platform to put these little brackets on. It gives me something to anchor to it. It's still just a bit too shallow. So if it's a bit too shallow, let's make this a little bit longer by pulling it down. There we go. Now we can put that in there. And see how it looks like I have all these different sheets of paper, and really, in fact, this is all just a pile of scraps. I mean, I think this is an awesome way to go through your scrap pile. As long as all the papers coordinate, it's a great way to incorporate those scraps and just get rid of them. And normally, if you stay with the same paper family, like pink paisley, almost everything pink paisley will match one another. Same thing with Prima. Most every one of the Prima paper collections will coordinate with each other in one way or another, especially if they're from the same designer within that paper company, if that makes sense to you guys. And then on the heart, I had a big star right here. And so on the heart, what I want to do is use the silver, and I use this Glimmer Mist that's silver. This is called, it's actually called silver, because I wanted that little pop of gray. And I wanted that little sparkle and shine. And I'm going to go ahead and, the reason I went ahead and did that so I'd have time to dry without you guys having to hear the heat gun going off. Okay, so we've pretty much got our layers built out on this. Love it! Love how this is coming together. So I have these little brackets, and now see how all these layers, all these little layers are kind of helping to come all together? Suzanne, was that you that just tried to call me? And then the next thing I want to do is, once that, I'm gonna start working on maybe a couple more little flags coming up here and maybe coming down into this section. But I just want itty bitty pieces of paper. I don't want a lot of, I don't want big ones. Okay, if it wasn't you, then I'm gonna ignore it, as I don't know who it was. And see, I'm just cutting little pieces. I'm just taking all these itty-bitty pieces of paper, and I'm just cutting these cute little flags out, and I'm just going to kind of tuck them in at different levels. I don't want all my flags to have the exact same level here. And I'm probably going to do this from behind like this, because it won't matter, you know, what the front looks like, because I know it's going to work. This looks like a masking tape landmine back here. Guys, I'm sorry about Ustream. I know that tonight was national championship night for college football, so Ustream is probably slammed, so it's probably just misbehaving terribly. I see a lot of you complaining on here about its behavior. I'm sorry. And I think I want another one, like, I don't want two the same. Let's put it up here at the top. I think maybe like sticking out right here. What you guys think about that? Oh, I know, Lemore, you probably have the same problems on your channel too. We all know it's like that. And unless we want to charge for classes, which I really don't want to do, I really like the fact that we can do this in a free forum. I don't really know any other way to avoid it. I've looked at some other services outside of Ustream, but they're expensive, and I don't think you guys want to pay for these classes when we can offer them to you, you know, for free. We just have to put up with some of the annoyances. Because I really, really, really like to share my ideas with you guys. And YouTube is just, you just can't get, I don't have time to do all of the editing and video editing and things like that it takes to do it on YouTube. So I chose to go here, and I was fortunate enough to have a sponsor with Flamingo Scraps, so we were able to, you know, partner together and bring these classes to you guys. So I guess we just kind of have to put up with them being a little bit annoying. Okay, so I think I'm done with all these flags. I might save this one for something else, because I want to do some that are different colors. I don't want to just stick with the same old colors. I might put that one there, because I like that little peekaboo right there. What do you guys think about that? This layout's going to be a little bit different than the last one, but that's okay. I'll give this one to my mom. She's been begging for it anyway. That's the beauty of doing more than one layout. You got gifts for people. Just make sure your flags are straight and they're not like, you know, you don't want them on there crooked. Okay, so have any of you guys seen any of the new products coming out for CHA? You guys, make sure you go over to Flamingo Scraps' Facebook wall and let them know what you're interested in, because she's about to start putting in her orders soon. And let her know what products you guys are looking at. I've been pinning some things as I see them, but I've been kind of behind because I've been swamped. And I was looking for new cars and things like that. And I love, see how my bracket from that tag, the bracket is going to be carried off. You know, it kind of follows the brackets here. It's the inverted, you know, thing going on here with the flags. But all these different layers just kind of coming together. So let's see, I want to put this here, sticking out just a little bit. But by building this on the back of the photograph is the center point, and we're framing out the photograph, but we're adding a lot of depth, and we're adding a lot of dimension, but we're not adding, you know, it's not bulky depth. Are you guys liking this so far? Are you learning? All of this from one sheet of paper. One sheet of paper, and I haven't even used the whole sheet of paper. Look at all of these just by cutting into little strips here and there. The one thing you do have to make sure you do, though, if you do it this way, is just make sure you get everything straight, because also find that if I overlap just a hair like behind, then you know, it kind of gives the illusion of the paper continues on. And the beautiful thing about the masking tape is if I don't like it, I'm not committed to it. I can still pick it up, move it around. I see, and I do this myself too, where people will lay out all these layouts and things, and then they never commit to it, and then they fiddle with it all day long, and they never get anything done because they're undoing and doing and undoing and doing. And this way, you know what? It's stuck down. I'm committed when I put it down, but I'm not completely committed. I still have the option to break it off. I mean, you know, to redo it if I want to. Okay, so now I'm at this point where I think I want to introduce some of my washi tapes. I've got some right here. These, I don't know where they came from because I bought like a big, huge stack of them on eBay at dirt cheap price, and I don't even remember the vendor. And I have gone back to see if I could get them again, but I didn't, and they were a variety of washi tapes. So I can't tell you where they came from because I really honestly don't know. But I think it's just a matter of, if you like the look of the washi tape, then go out and just start looking for different colors, because you never know what you might need. As far as I'm concerned, you can never have too much of it. Now, one thing I want to do is, I don't like seeing lines that start and stop like this. This is kind of an abrupt line right here. So I'm going to take this and push it in. And another reason for that masking tape is because I still can lift and put tags, you know, add more elements on top because nothing's glued down all the way. So I've got this little bit of washi tape right here. And I also have this color. I'm thinking I might want to do something with it. Kind of help break it up a little bit too. And it's just got a little bit of a aqua colored like diagonal line. And again, I'm just cutting these into little flags. Try not to cut your finger off. Oh, that's a little bit too long. I'm just going to cut just a bit off it and put it right here. So I like the look of all these different little tabby things hanging down. Okay, then I want to repeat that. What I like to do is, if I'm going to put something over here, I want to put it over here too, diagonal, because I like the way that looks, the layered look like that. So I'm going to come back with some more of that green washi tape, put one more up here. I'm just going to stick it right here. Okay, and I think I'm kind of done with this. So the only thing I have left to do is my tag for my glassine bag, and I wanted to kind of bring that yellow back out again because I have a lot of this blue going on, and I don't want my layout to be so blue, so I want to pull some of that yellow back in. So I'm going to just take my mustard seed distress ink. You could also use this Prima, which is the colt's foot stamens. Now, in this case, you could replace this with baker's twine if you wanted to, but I left this twill ribbon on mine, and all I did was pull my distress ink up that ribbon to color it, so it had a nice tone to it. And I love my distress inks. Since I started using these distress inks, I rarely use another ink pad. I'll use archival ink, and that's about it. You know, I really like the way the Prima chalks are because they're small, compact, and you can just hold them in your hand. But this one is a little bit richer yellow than the distress ink is, so it gives a nice edge to it. It's a little more of a true, like, sunflower kind of yellow. Now, I know some of you out there have an aversion to yellow, but I like yellow, so I'm using it. Now another thing I wanted to do on here is I'm just going to hit just the edge with this sponge. I did not re-ink it, and this is that gathered twigs, because it's just going to kind of pull that color right back into the tag and just give a little bit of depth to the tag. Just a little spot right there. Then I'm going to just tie a knot in this, or tie a bow in it, and it's going to go into my glassine bag. Now, another thing that I've been doing on my layouts lately that I really like is I've been doing some stitching with my sewing machine. And I have brown thread that's loaded in my sewing machine. I don't really care what color it is. It's whatever happens to be loaded. I also think you should do both sides of this, because you could possibly see both sides of this tag at one time. So one side might be a little bit lighter than the other side. But I'm going to do my little journaling on here, and in my original layout what I did was I wrote a little message to Colton about how proud I am of him. He's really blossomed this year. He's had a lot of things going on personally, and this year he seems to have blossomed. He's matured quite a bit. So I just wrote a little note about how proud I was of him and his success, and you know, one day he'll end up with this layout and he'll read it and he'll go, "Oh, my Aunt Tonya really did love me, even though she yelled at me all the time." But see how that just kind of, it just kind of adds that little, you know, your journaling is there, but it's not in your face. Yes, you could put that yellow arrow on there. Okay, so now let's move on to the second section of my layout. I still have one more element I want to put right here, but before I do it, I want to see what else I have left. There's this little arrow. It would be so cute, because this would send your eye back over here to tell you that there's something there that needs to be pulled out. That little arrow, I think I'm going to do that actually. That was a good idea. And I'm going to use my Xylon sticker maker, and I want to show you guys how this works, because I am amazed at how many people don't even know what this is. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but this is, it's an adhesive, a double-sided or a single-sided adhesive, but it adds, it makes anything a sticker, and I love it. And you just put it in, face up, and then you pull it out this way, and now it's a sticker. But the reason I love them is because it is a complete coverage of adhesive. And then all I do on this one, this particular size, I have them in all the different sizes, but this particular size, you have to kind of burnish around where the sticker is to kind of release the adhesive from the rest of the strip. Then you just peel this back like this. This is sticky. This is where all the extra adhesive went, so you can pick up your trash with it. And then now this is sticker. How cool is that? And you're right, this would be great, because it tells you, and I'm going to cover up where the seam of this glassine bag is. So it kind of sends my eye back over to this tag to indicate that it can be pulled out and opened up. Great idea. Another nice thing is if you have a bunch of things that you want to trap, because like when I die cut words or something, I can put them in there and then they're stuck to this until you're done. And if you're going to a crop, go ahead and do all your die cutting and things like that, stick them on here, then stick them in your little bag like we talked about at the beginning of the thing. And then you've got it all trapped, and it's not just all over the place. Yeah, the pokey tool would work too. Okay, so are we in agreement that this is pretty much, I think, done as far as this side of it goes? I don't want to add too much more, because I really want, I really don't want to clutter this layout up. I did have, in the original, I did have a bright yellow piece that came across that said seriously. I don't have that yellow anymore because it was part of the ephemera pack and I used it on the first layout. So I think what I'm going to do is there's this strip right here that's yellow, and I want that yellow element back down there. I think it really kind of helps to draw your eye back down. So I happen to have the portfolio stamp set. And that stamp set has that word seriously with the question mark already on it. Now I have to admit, the first time I did this, I wasn't really crazy about that question mark because to me it didn't make sense. Let's trim this just a little bit more. I've got a little paper trimmer over here. I should probably use it. And then I'm going to cut like a little flag right here. We're almost done. Believe it or not, this layout is almost done. This is probably going to be the quickest class I've ever taught in my life. And then this is the twigs, and again, I'm just going to kind of come in and hit the edge just to kind of help, you know, make this edge look a little better. But this time what I wanted to do is I wanted to incorporate some metal in here. And the way to do that, I thought, was the tiny attacher. I went ahead and added a little staple. And it gives the appearance that this has been stapled to the layout when in fact it really hasn't. So it's going to go right there. But before I put it there, I want to add this word seriously to it. Right there. I had to find it. Now this is the portfolio stamp set, clear stamp set, and it is also, I got it from Flamingo Scraps. I don't know if they still have them in the store. You'll have to ask Suzanne, but if not, she can reorder it for you. And I'm going to just stamp it with black archival ink. Another hint I'm going to give you guys about your stamps. When you buy these clear stamps, you need to take them home, pull every stamp off of the thing, and use it. And then put them all right back. Because if you don't, what will happen is the stamps will actually fuse to this piece of plastic and you will never get them off. And I'm just going to use, I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm just going to use the top of this distress thing as my stamp pad. Whatever works, right? It's really not the right scale though. I may have to make it a little bit smaller or thinner. Maybe I'll make it, I'm going to make it a little bit thinner because it's not really, this stamp is a lot smaller than that original was, and it looks kind of goofy on this big old tag. I'll be honest with you. It looked kind of silly. There we go. Now let's try it. And that's why you don't use that. Seriously? That's what I did. Alright, well, forget it. We won't use it. I done messed it up. Where's the other one? There was another one. Here, we could use this one instead. Where'd it go? Which way do I want it? Seriously, which way do I want it? See, I just go with it. If it messes up, then it wasn't meant to be. It needed to be a little different. That's all. There we go. And now put the tiny attacher in there. And it's going to go right there. Oh, I kind of like that better. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to cut that little thing off and make it like an arrow. Yes, I like that a lot better. Okay, so I need to put a little bit of tape on there. Where's my tape? Have I not used any tape this entire time other than the masking tape? Wow, that's a first for me. Seriously, that's a first. Perfect. Okay, so now I think this section is finished. That I need to move on to the side of the layout. Another thing that I'm seeing that is super popular right now are oh, we gotta put a heart on here. It goes right here. But I think I'm gonna do that with dimensional tape because I want it to stick up just a little bit further than everything else on the page. Yeah, guys, don't forget that tonight Pink Paisley and How You Swap Stuff is on 40% off, and Suzanne just dropped the coupon code in the chat for you guys. So if you're interested in these papers, go get them. Alright. Okay, so this section is now officially done, and it's time to move on to the next section. So what I decided to do was, I like where I'm seeing a lot of layouts where when there's a bunch of stuff in one section that they do like a little itty bitty like cluster in the opposite side of the layout. So for my cluster, what I decided to do was take some of these strips of paper. See, like on this sheet of paper there's this little piece of washi tape looking stuff here, and then this here. So what I decided to do was just take and cut some of these off and use them. And this has been one of those really long days that I've had. So instead of trying to cut this, because obviously y'all can see I'm kind of challenged a little bit tonight, I'm going to take and trim this on a paper trimmer. I love how now it looks like there's two sheets of paper here and then a piece of washi tape. And then I'm going to take this down here at the bottom, and if I cut up this end right here just a little bit, hold on, I can make these have two different lengths. And I can repeat my flag pattern, and it'll look like they are actually two sheets of paper, when in fact it's all one piece. It's just the way I cut it. See? So now it looks like I have two sheets of paper and a piece of washi tape, when in fact I only have one sheet of paper. Then I'm going to take this piece that I have that we cut earlier that says "You Are," and I want to include it right in here. Like maybe right in, maybe sticking up a little bit. Maybe like right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Make sure it's straight. And we're going to build the same way we did on the same way we did on the photograph. We're just going to build here. But this time we're going to keep it to no more than 2.5 inches wide, because I don't want to creep into that section, but I really want to see all these different layers. I have this other piece that was left over from the tab a while ago, and this will kind of, because it has this little curly bracket, it will point your eye back to the photograph. So I'm going to put that here. And then another thing that I really want to do is draw your eye back down this way a little bit. And I think I still have a tag left over from the ephemera pack. And I'm going to stick it kind of coming down this way. Yeah, I like that. Is it far enough down? Right there. And then the last thing I want to do is I have this Tim Holtz like tab, and I think what I want to do in here is put the date inside of here. And I'm just going to take my Prima ink and just ink this up. So this actually is now going to be the same color, yellow. It's going to just kind of pop. But I'm trying to avoid the inside piece so that it looks like it, you know, it's layered. And then I'm going to take my tiny attacher and I'm going to attempt to have that same look that I had before, except my tiny attacher is empty. This is the true test to see if I can put my hands on the staples. Can't find it, so I'm just going to use this one, which is probably also empty. Yep. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to show you what I did because I don't have any more staples in here. I don't know what I did with them. Oh, there they are. Yay! Saved the day. This kind of stuff never happens to anybody but me. I didn't even think to put staples in here. I use this thing all the time. Okay, so I want to kind of continue on with that look and draw that metal back in because this is a boy and we want metal, but I didn't want bulky metal and I didn't want to include a bunch of metal that was going to end up being, you know, making my layout really thick because I wanted it to stay thin. So I decided to do this kind of staple effect, going down and give the look that my let me see if I can get that without the, so you guys can see it. You see that staple? So it kind of looks like it's been stapled to it. And I'm going to put it, I think, right here, so it looks like it's coming off the edge of the page. And I'm going to put it on with a little bit of score tape because it has that metal and I want to make sure that it stays stuck down. There we go. And then I'm just going to take a little black pen and write the date, which this was December 2012. And don't be afraid to use your handwriting in your layouts. And then this is going to be my everything. You are my everything. Colton and I have this thing that we say to each other all the time. He said it since he was little. He tells me I'm his everything. And that was kind of what I wrote on the tag. And then I did a little bit of doodling around here just to kind of add a little bit of fun. With a long line and a dot, a long line and a dot. We're almost done. We just have to attach this to the layout. But notice I've done all of this and all I've used is maybe an ephemera pack. I've used 2 sheets of paper and some washi tape. And a little bit of ink. And I think I want this to come back in just a little bit further. sticking out just a bit too much. And then that's it for this layout. Let's just get that thing attached and start looking at it. And the only thing I have left to do is add my splatters. And when you guys see how I did that, you're going to laugh because there's a lot of banging going on. But by building out my layers on my picture and building out my layer here with this, what I have done is I have maintained the integrity of my negative space around the photograph. Now, for the added, look, I'm not going to do it here right now because I know I'll have to go off camera to do it, but I just took and ran a stitch from starting about right here, running it straight down on this layout to the tip of the flag, I think it was, is where I stopped. So I just did that on my sewing machine, and I did the same thing over here. I just stitched down this side before I put this section down. And then to glue this down, all I had to do was go back with a little bit of score tape, or you could probably use your ATG tape actually. Pay attention to where you put the tape. You don't want it to stick out from behind an element. And I made sure, because the glassine bag is going to have the tag pulling and tugging, you're going to be pulling it in and out, I made sure I taped across that glassine bag just to kind of give it some stability. Any of the pages that are sticking up and you want to cover them up, you just so if you use the Chrome browser, you don't have ads? Is that what you guys are saying? That's nice to know. Okay, so before I go putting these elements down, what I want to do is do my splatters. And I want to stay diagonal because my photograph is going to go here and my title here, and it's going in this direction. I want my splatters to kind of come across this way, and this is how I did it. I took something that has a smooth round bottom on it, like I'm going to use, hold on a minute, let me grab a cap. I'm going to use this cap, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to spray generously a heaping amount of spray right there. Then I'm going to take this cap and I'm going to pounce it. And see how it does? How cool is that? Bleeding ink. Look at that. And I'm going to do, this one got a little more intense than what I really wanted, so I'm just going to do one. And I'm just going to do two. But look at how cool that is. And then here's the best part. If it's way too much, if you use a hot glue gun or a hot gun, it's gonna like splatter even more. But I don't want to do that because I don't want all of that all over the place. I just wanted it to splatter the way it did. So I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm just going to put it down and blot it back up. And it's dry enough for me to be able to use now without having to use the heat gun. If you're going to heat this, heat it from the bottom. And then there goes my layout. This is going to go kind of up here. And then this piece is going to go over here. And we have done a very simple layout that is very masculine, and we have done it on a budget pretty much, And honestly, if you coordinated all of your scraps, you could definitely repeat this layout multiple times, different directions, and get a different look each time and use up your scraps. And this would be awesome too on a card. One other thing that I did that I really want to show you guys is that I wanted to add a little more color over here, so I just kind of traced around some of these bigger flags to kind of give the look that it had been stitched, even though it really hadn't been. And I'm not worried if I'm not straight. I'm very tired right now, so I'm getting kind of crooked. But I'm not concerned about whether or not it's straight. It doesn't matter to me, because if I sewed it, trust me, it wouldn't be straight. So anyway, that's about it. So do you guys have any questions, or did I cover everything clearly? Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add? It is recorded. Yes. And there you go. There's our layout. Actually, looking at it on camera, I might need another splatter right there, but I'm not going to do it because we're supposed to have white space. And, oh, I want to show you guys really quick. For those of you who missed it at the start of the show, same layout, Prima product. This one has Prima leaves. See it? All it is leaves. All I used was leaves and a vine. Same exact layout, but instead of placing the cluster here, I place it here. Same exact layout. Another layout I want to show you, exact same layout. This one, I did this paper mixed media style, put it on a piece of cardstock, built the clusters with a 6x6 Prima pad. Same exact layout. That's 3 different looks with one layout. Three exact layouts. See? 3 exactly the same. This one just has, you know, and what I used to tell people in my store too is if you find a sketch that you like, do it one time the way it's sketched. Then rotate the sketch this way and do it again. Then rotate the sketch this way and do it again. And then rotate it this way and do it again. And then you've got 4 layouts from one sketch. And I can guarantee you all 4 of them will look like they came from 4 different sketches. No, this is an older sketch from Prima. This was, I think, September or October. It was one of the box challenges. So just, you know, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I look forward to next time. Our next Ustream class will be on the first Monday in February. Hold on, I'll tell you a date. It will be, oh, let's see here, February 4th will be our next Ustream, and we're going to make a Valentine project. So I believe Flamingo Scraps is going to have the kids up sometime this week on the Valentine project, so that if you guys are interested in that kit, go ahead and get it ordered so that it's in, because you'll only have about 10 days to make the project once the Ustream airs, and if you have the product in hand already, it'll make it a lot easier. Suzanne, do I have permission to show the project? Can I go ahead and show them the project for next month? Do you guys want to see it? Yes? Yes, yes, pretty please? Yes, 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 sneak peeks, yes? It's a candy dish holder. So fun, fun, fun. Go ahead if you're interested in the kits. This is the Pink Paisley Secret Crush. So if you are interested in the kit, go ahead and let Suzanne know you're interested in it, and you know, get it or she'll get it to you. It's probably going to get advertised sometime either this week or early next week. We want you guys, like I said, to go ahead and get the kits. It's Secret Crush and Maya Road. And there's some Prima on there too. So Secret Crush, Maya Road, and Prima. Who wouldn't love this project? And you will be able to make 3 projects with the kit. You can make 3 of these from one kit. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. Sorry about the mistakes and the stapler not being loaded, but it's live and this is me. So thank you guys, and I will talk to you later. You guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you at CHA. Leemore, please, 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 please get in touch with me because I'd love to meet you. And you guys, Leemore does teach a class on Monday nights, usually. Is it Monday nights or Tuesday nights? Tuesday nights. So you guys check her out too. She's really talented. She does a lot of mixed media stuff. Tuesday nights. This week my brain is just not working. It's been very taxing this last couple of weeks, so we've had a lot going on at work. Alright, thank you. Good night.